Huddah Monroe is not famous by accident, and she is not rich by mistake. She is one of the very few Kenyan women who understood early that attention, if controlled, can become power, and power, if managed correctly, becomes money, influence, and longevity. Over the years, people have tried to reduce her to labels: socialite, video vixen, Big Brother contestant, Instagram personality. But none of those words fully explain why, more than a decade later, Huddah Monroe is still relevant, still wealthy, still trending, and still reinventing herself. From Nairobi to Dubai, from reality TV to boardrooms, from beauty products to bold spiritual declarations, Huddah's story is not just about fame. It is about strategy, survival, and self-belief. She has built a brand around confidence, luxury, and high standards. And whether people admire her or criticize her, they cannot ignore her. This is the story of a woman who turned visibility into an empire, controversy into currency, and personal pain into one of the most recognizable female brands in East Africa. Born Al-Huddah in George on October 10, 1991, in Nairobi, Huddah's childhood was far from glamorous. Her father died when she was still young, a loss that shaped her emotional toughness early in life. Raised by her mother, who later remarried, Huddah grew up in a blended family environment that was not always easy. She has openly spoken about growing up with limited resources, experiencing instability, and learning early that nobody was coming to save her. She attended several schools, including Kajiado Hills Girls Academy, and completed secondary school at a remarkably young age, around 16. Although she later joined college, financial pressure and family responsibility forced her to drop out, a decision she is never hidden from. Instead of shame, she turned it into motivation, explaining that she sacrificed her education to help support her siblings. Before fame, Huddah worked as a secretary, surviving on modest pay, while quietly observing how money, connections, and visibility worked in Nairobi. This phase of her life hardened her mindset. She learned discipline, self-reliance, and ambition, traits that would later define her public persona. Long before luxury cars and Dubai apartments, Huddah was already building mental resilience. Huddah's entry into the entertainment world was not overnight success. It was gradual exposure. She began modeling locally, appearing in Kenyan music videos and fashion shoots that paid little but offered visibility. During this period, she became known for her striking looks, confidence, and ability to command attention on camera. Nairobi nightlife circles started recognizing her, and her name slowly circulated among creatives, musicians, and promoters. This was also the era when she learned branding without realizing it: how to pose, how to speak, how to create intrigue, and how to stay memorable. She did not come from money or industry connections, so she had to compensate with boldness and consistency. While critics later mocked this phase as video vixen life, it was actually her training ground. She learned how the entertainment industry worked, how men with money behaved, how opportunities were created, and how quickly relevance could disappear if one wasn't strategic. Every appearance, every photo shoot, and every event added to her visibility bank, a bank she would later cash in at continental scale. In 2013, Huddah Monroe entered Big Brother Africa Season 8, a move that permanently changed her trajectory. Although she was evicted relatively early, her presence on the show left a strong impression. She was outspoken, emotional, confident, and unapologetically herself, qualities that made audiences talk. During the show, she openly expressed affection for Kenyan rapper Prezzo, revealing vulnerability that contrasted with her tough exterior. That storyline followed her even after eviction, fueling conversations across East Africa. More importantly, Big Brother Africa gave her continental exposure. Overnight, she was no longer just a Nairobi face. She was a recognizable African personality. Many contestants fade after reality TV, but Huddah did the opposite. She understood that the show was not the destination. It was the launch pad. She leaned into social media, interviews, and appearances, carefully shaping an image that blended luxury, controversy, and ambition. This moment marked the transition from entertainer to brand. From this point forward, Huddah Monroe became a name that could sell products, attract attention, and dominate conversations. In 2016, Huddah made one of the smartest decisions of her life. She launched Huddah Cosmetics. At a time when African beauty markets were underserved, she identified a gap: makeup products that truly worked for African skin tones. Starting with lipsticks and expanding into eyeshadows and skincare, the brand quickly gained traction, not just because of her fame, but because the products delivered. Unlike many celebrity brands that rely purely on hype, Huddah invested in manufacturing, packaging, marketing, and professional management. She openly admitted that she hired experts to run operations while she focused on branding and expansion. Over time, her business portfolio expanded to include fashion under Rebel by Huddah, real estate consultancy through Huddah Luxury, agricultural investments in Kenya, and business entities registered in Dubai. She relocated part-time to Dubai, using it as a business hub while maintaining strong influence in Kenya. This phase cemented her identity as a serious entrepreneur, not just an influencer, proving that beauty, when paired with intelligence and discipline, can become long-term wealth. Huddah Monroe's love life has always attracted headlines, partly because she refuses to soften her standards. She has publicly stated that she does not date Kenyan celebrities and prefers financially successful men who understand generosity. Her past relationship with Prezzo has been one of the most talked about chapters. She revealed that as a teenager, she once ran away from home and lived with him for about 2 years, describing him as her first serious love. Although Prezzo publicly denied some claims, both later reconciled publicly, showing maturity beyond past disagreements. She has also been linked to Juma Jux, though she later clarified that their connection was more of a professional collaboration than a deep romance. In recent years, international attention followed her after she shared flirtatious exchanges with Rick Ross, sparking speculation about a possible relationship. Huddah has never confirmed most rumors, choosing instead to control the narrative by revealing only what benefits her brand. Her openness about liking money, luxury, and ambition has sparked both admiration and criticism, but she remains unapologetic. For her, relationships are not about struggle, they are about alignment. Huddah Monroe thrives in controversy, but not recklessly, strategically. She speaks her mind on topics many public figures avoid, from gender roles to personal boundaries. In 2025, she boldly announced that she would no longer give second chances, not even to family, a statement that sparked massive debate online. Some called her harsh, others called her self-aware. She has also made comments on social behavior, work culture, and modern relationships that ignite conversation instantly. While critics accuse her of seeking attention, supporters argue that she simply refuses to dilute her truth for comfort. Her confidence is polarizing, but that polarity keeps her relevant. In the age of social media, neutrality disappears, and Huddah understands that better than most. She has mastered the algorithm of human curiosity. Say what others think, but fear to say, and do it with conviction. That approach has helped her maintain millions of followers across platforms and remain a dominant digital personality well into 2026. Perhaps the most unexpected chapter in Huddah Monroe's journey is her spiritual pivot. In 2024, she announced plans to return to Kenya and establish Huddah Prosperity Church, describing it as a God-led mission. The announcement shocked many, but for those who understand her evolution, it made sense. Huddah has always believed in reinvention. From poverty to wealth, from anonymity to fame, from beauty to business, and now from glamour to spirituality, her life has been a continuous transformation. As of 2026, she stands as one of East Africa's most successful self-made female brands, a woman who turned her name into an empire. Her legacy is not perfection, but courage. Courage to be loud, to be different, to fail publicly, and to rise repeatedly. Huddah Monroe is proof that modern African women can define success on their own terms and rewrite their story whenever they choose.